Hi, and welcome back. Happy that you're still with us. Uh, this time I'm bringing with me our next guest, which is Kepano. Great to have you here.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm very good. I'm rested. This was a big week for us with the release. Not too many bugs reported, so I'm happy about that. But I've got a
Just you
laundry
wait.
list of minimal theme updates that I'm going to need to make.
Oh, yeah, because you're also the author of the minimal theme.
Yes. Well, I guess that's how it started. I was making minimal theme pretty much the minute I started using Obsidian back in like May 2020. I was like, I need to start making some tweaks to this. And that's where it started. Worked on that for a couple of years. And then the Obsidian team asked me to come help out on 1.0. And I was very excited to do that. Had learned everything that you can about the structure of Obsidian and how to tweak it and what I wish it could have been like, both as a theme but also for theme developers. So tried to bring all of those different ideas into this new version.
That's
But
a
yes,
that's a
now I'm also now I also have to update minimal to make sure
yeah.
that it also works. So I got two
I,
themes going.
that's a pretty good resume to hand in to the Obsidian team.
They had a chance to see my work before I jumped on, so that was fun.
Cool. So I, for one, I'm really digging the new default theme. It to me, it definitely has a more polished look to it. And so I kind of understand that with this new look, you've also made like some big changes to how you develop themes in general, right? Could you
Yes,
maybe talk a little bit about that?
definitely. So one of the things that we wanted to make a lot easier is making small changes to Obsidian. And we're going to talk about themes. We're going to go into, maybe we'll create a spooky theme together. We'll see how
I'd
far
love
we get
that.
with that in the next like 30 minutes. But we also know that there's so many people who share snippets, right? And they are just trying to make small changes. They want to make the headings a little larger. They want to do something different with their checkboxes. They want to make all these different little modifications to make Obsidian more, cozy and exactly the way they like it. And so we wanted to make that as easy as possible. So one of the difficult things about theming and snippets in the past was that you would have to get into the weeds of CSS selectors, and we'll
Right.
explain what that is a little bit more. But essentially, the structure of Obsidian is kind of like a very fancy website that has a tree of smaller and smaller objects that are nested inside of these elements. And if you wanted to change like one checkbox in reading view, you would have to like dig all the way down into the tree to find that element and provide this very narrow selector. So what we've done instead is abstract all of that and bring it all the way up to the top, and basically make a list of, there's something like 400 variables now that you have access to that
Oh,
allow you
wow.
to directly control pretty much every major thing in the interface that you want to be able to do in essentially 3 lines of code. At the minimum, it's about 3 lines of code. You can make something as advanced as you want, but you can get there much, much more easily. And so for themes that are some of the more advanced themes like minimal, but also like Sanctum, or many of the kind of more the ones that have, like Primary is a good example, that have a lot of features to them. What we're seeing is that the amount of code is basically drastically being reduced. Like 80% of the code can be thrown out.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
And that's great, because as a theme developer, you really want to have not too much code that you have to maintain, and that makes things a lot easier.
Right. And you want to be able to make things consistent. I mean, if you have all these, classes that you need to define, if you change one and forget to update the others, then you certainly have an inconsistent theme. But what you're saying is that now we have these customizable things,
Variables.
variables at the top that we can just tweak and then have that ripple throughout the whole interface. Is that what you're saying?
And it's yeah, exactly. And it's also more future proof in two ways. One is if you're using those variables kind of at the top level, if there are changes to Obsidian in the future that affect how the classes are structured,
Right.
those won't your snippets or your themes are less likely to get broken because you won't have to change those selectors. The other
Right.
thing that we introduced that's new is the theme versioning system. So before, kind of themes were just something that you would install, and if you wanted to update them, you could go into the theme manager and click update. But it was a little difficult to know what was happening behind the scenes. So what we've done is actually moved the theming system to use the same versioning as plugins. So before, themes didn't actually have versions as far as Obsidian is concerned.
Mm,
Theme developers could keep track of their versions, but the Obsidian app didn't really know what was going on. And so with that, we're also able to introduce the minimum app version that your theme
right.
is allowed to run on. And so that makes it a lot better going forward. If there's some other new capabilities that get added to Obsidian, if someone is on an old version of Obsidian, they'll still be able to download an old version of your theme that's compatible with their
Right.
version.
But we're going to see like legacy themes. Will they still be working in 1.0, or what
So,
if I'm a
yeah.
theme developer and I've built a theme in the past, will that still work?
So we went through every single theme and checked like how badly they were broken, and there were a few that were pretty broken. It is very easy to migrate your theme to the new version. So if you are a theme author and have a slightly broken theme, it should be fairly easy. We've written a developer guide that explains what to do to migrate your theme to the new version.
Mhm.
But starting now, it's going to become a lot easier going forward, for Obsidian 1.1, 1.5, 2.0, etc. Um, we kind of had to rip off this band-aid now because we can't go back in time and have this theme versioning system for people who are on older versions of the app.
Right.
So any theme that gets developed for 1.0 and above will now have this kind of version number that says what version this theme is allowed to run on,
Right.
which should make things more future-proof going forward.
So I actually would love it if we could, try some of this out.
Yeah,
And I thought that it would be a great exercise if you could just teach me how to build a theme. How does that sound?
absolutely. I'm excited. I think this. What I'm going to say is, today there's something like a few hundred themes. I'm hoping that in the future there's thousands of themes, and that all kinds of people who never thought to touch CSS are going to, get their hands dirty, and hopefully it's easier than ever. So I
Okay.
think the first thing that we want to do when we get started, and if you're watching, you can try to follow along. You could even open up these same views on your end. I think what we'll
Okay.
start by doing is creating a snippet, actually, because
Okay.
I think that that's the easiest thing for people to understand. You don't even have to go all the way down the theme route. You can start by
So
modifying an existing theme.
what is a snippet then?
So why don't you open the settings in Obsidian
Mhm.
and go to Appearance. And a snippet is basically a small piece of a theme. And you see these snippets at the very bottom.
Oh, there we are.
So CSS snippets it's a folder in your vault that allows you to drop in partial bits of CSS that don't need to do very much. They're not trying to control the entire interface. They're just little snippet is, I think, a good name because they're just like a little bit of CSS that allows you to tweak something.
Okay.
Um, and so you can drop in CSS snippets to modify any piece of the interface. So we'll start by creating that. And then what we'll
Okay.
do is actually turn our snippet into a full-blown theme. So if
Okay.
you
I
want to
like the
make
sound of
one,
that. Yeah.
click the folder icon, and
Up
that's
here?
gonna, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's gonna open up the folder inside of your vault for snippets. So if you
Mm.
go to like column view on this, you could see, where that is, but it's under the in your vault under the .obsidian
Oh,
slash
yeah, yeah, yeah.
snippets.
I can actually go. I have my vault up here, so it should
Okay,
be in
great. Yeah,
here somewhere.
exactly.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay.
So I think if you don't have that folder, it automatically gets created when you click on that folder icon.
Oh,
So
okay.
now let's create a new file in that folder, and we'll call it snippet.css.
Okay.
Great. And so if you refresh back in Obsidian, there's a little refresh icon in the CSS. That should show up now,
There we
and you
have it.
can turn it on. So
Okay.
right now we've just got an empty snippet, and we can go back to the main Obsidian view. And what we're going to look at next is the developer tools. So if you're new to styling CSS and HTML, a really convenient feature that is part of the kind of Electron Chromium wrapper that Obsidian lives in is called developer tools. And you can open that via a shortcut or just by going all the way up to the menu bar. Yes, and you can go to view, toggle developer tools. There's also a shortcut for it.
Oh, there
And
we
that's
have it.
that's gonna open up a window. Might be useful to show. I think you've got it already customized where it pops out into its own window.
Oh, yeah.
But if you click the little dots at the top here, you can dock it inside of the app if you want. You can show how
Can
that
do that.
looks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
But
I
I
might
like
use
having
that.
it popped out. It's a little bit more convenient for multitasking.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So what
So,
so
yep.
what developer tools is gives you basically like X-ray vision into what's going on with how the app is structured. So we're going to want to go to the Elements tab,
Oh, there
and
we got the entire HTML document, right? Because this is
exactly.
really just a web page.
Yeah, I mean Obsidian, and that's what we love about Obsidian is that it runs using all the web technologies, and so the fact that you've been able to demo how to create a plugin so easily, we really get the benefit of being able to leverage all the web stuff out there. And so you're showing, I think the right thing, which is what I was describing earlier, the tree
Right.
structure. So if you want to, you can explore how the app actually works by unfolding the levels of this
Oh,
tree,
yeah. And if I
and
hover this, I can kind of see where I'm at. Okay. So,
and you can keep unfolding to keep going deeper and deeper. And now,
okay.
Developer Tools also has this really great little tool, I guess, which is the little icon in the top left corner.
This one?
Basically, click on that. And this is called the inspector tool, and it
Ooh.
allows you to basically hover over an element and find it within the tree. So this is super convenient because if you are looking for what is that thing called, what is the
Mm.
variable associated with that, you can find that very easily.
Mm.
So go ahead and click on that, for example. Like, okay, so you've selected the inline title. Maybe open your developer tools into another pop-out window just so that we can
Okay.
see things a little more.
Let's see. I have it in. Let's minimize stuff here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make this a little bigger. And you say pop this out.
Yeah, that way we'll be able to see things a little more clearly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So on the left side, you've got the tree of elements, and then on the right side, you have what properties are associated with that. So the right column is really what you want to be looking at.
This
So what
one?
you select,
Yep.
yep. So maybe drag it out a little more so we can see this better. So what you're looking at right now is the inline title. So this is actually a new feature that we added in 1.0. So now the name of your file appears. You can also remove it if you want in the appearance settings. But you can see here what I'm talking about when it comes to variables. So the
Right.
red
These
text,
ones. Yeah.
yeah. So the blue text that you're hovering over are the values, which are defined as variables that you can customize. The red text represents the attributes. So it's saying font weight equals the inline title weight variable. So then the other thing that you'll notice in that view is in the corner, in the top right corner, it says app.css.
Oh, here, yeah.
And what that's saying is, where are these rules being defined? And all of these rules are being defined in the app.css file, which is the most important file for theming in Obsidian. Oh, you're loading, yeah. So if you click through to that file, it's going to open in another tab of the developer tools. And you might even want to basically copy paste this entire thing. So why don't you actually Command A, the entire thing, just grab the entire thing.
Okay.
And then Command C and Command P, paste it into your VS Code that you've got open. Maybe let's just make a new file. That will just make it easier for you to like just make a new file, and then we'll be able to like look at it. You could put it anywhere, it doesn't matter.
Like all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
we're just gonna make a copy for ourselves here, just so that we can take a look at it. But
nice.
if you scroll all the way up to the top of this file, this is the app.css.
Okay,
you're gonna find a list of all of the new variables. So this part that we're looking at is really what's new. Earlier I was saying that we've kind of brought all of this stuff at the top level, and you can see that line 1 is body. So body is the only selector that we need to talk to, and body is for when we're assigning variables that have to do with almost everything that's not colors. We'll talk about colors in a second. Body is just the wrapper around the whole app. So we're defining our values for these variables at the top level, and they're alphabetically organized. Hopefully they make some sense. They're named hopefully fairly intuitively, but you can then use the developer tools to try and understand what's going on.
There's quite a few in here.
Yeah, there's about 400. It's surprising once you start to you start to realize that there's a lot of things that people want to tweak. But why don't you go to the inline title? Scroll back to the zone here where you were.
Inline.
Yeah, so inline title.
Did you want the class?
We don't need the class because we have the variables that are associated with that. So right now, what another thing that you'll notice is that you can relate variables to other variables. So we're now looking at what is being defined as the inline title color. And what it's saying is that inline title color is equal to the H1 color, which is your heading color. But maybe you don't actually want that. Maybe you want to set a different color for the inline title, or a different font or a different font size. So why don't we take the font size? That's a good one. So inline title size, copy that line. That's the 207.
This one? Yeah.
Yeah, take that and put it over in your snippet.
Okay.
And just
like
paste it there. Now we're going to need to wrap it inside of the body. So put body and curly bracket, and then
let's just move that in there.
Yeah. So now save. Maybe you want to have it side by side with the app so that we can see. It should refresh automatically right on the fly. So you haven't changed anything yet.
Nope, not yet.
Let's maybe you could close that find. Yeah. So let's replace what says var h1 size by you can put 1em and save.
Oh, nice.
So em is a value, is a unit in CSS that means the width of a letter M. And it's just the size that you're using for the font size of your overall Obsidian app. So we've just set the inline title size to be the same size as the normal text.
Oh, okay. I see.
But you can
I can go nuts here, right? I can just
make it 30.
Just blow it up.
Sure.
I see.
Go see what happens.
There you go.
Or 3 or 2 or whatever you want.
Yeah, maybe that's more my speed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at the we've achieved minimum snippet viability, right?
This is the MVP. I like it.
Exactly. We've created a snippet. It works. It allows us to do anything we want. So I see you have another tab open that is in the Obsidian app around the Japan trip planning. This is a note I created for some screenshots, sent
Uh-huh.
it over to you. Um, I've heard some people say in the past that they don't like the fact that when you check a checkbox, there's a strike through the the word there, and it makes it maybe harder to read or something. So let's go back to the all.css
You
file
mean
that you made.
these ones, the strike throughs
Yeah, the
here? Yeah.
line
Yeah.
through. So let's go to all.css. You can do it either way, but
Okay.
if
So
you if
in
you
here.
if you want to do you can go to all.css. And I think this one is under checklist.
Oh, I
If you
guess I
go
could
up to
like
C,
find it just by using
yeah,
this one again,
try to, yeah.
see if that works.
Why don't I not guide you and you try to figure it out?
Okay. So it's like this one, the CM list.
It's in
Yeah,
there somewhere.
it's in there
So you'll
somewhere.
want to, drag that over. Scroll up to the top on the right side of your, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And now you're in the weeds trying to find
Okay. Okay. Okay.
how it got to that thing. Okay,
Oh,
so
I
here it
see.
is.
Like you got some colors, tab
Checklist
size.
done decoration. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
here we go.
variable.
So I can just, oh yeah. So I can just
Exactly.
toggle that on and off here.
So that name, checklist done decoration, is what you want to use in your snippet.css.
Mm.
So if we go back to snippet.css, make a new line, checklist done decoration, and
Yep.
then give it the value of none. And then save, and that's it.
Oh,
You could
nice.
also
It's
give
gone.
it a different name. Try wavy. This is a new one that,
Wavy. I've never
yeah.
seen that one
Does
before.
that work? No, maybe
No,
no.
it doesn't.
There? If you ever want to know what are the available values, you can go to basically just Google and search like CSS text decoration. So for any kind of attribute, there are some different variables available. So in this case, you have, underline is probably the one that you would see being used for links.
Oh yeah.
But line through is the one that's being used in this particular case.
Oh yeah. I have a few here I can choose between. Yeah. Okay, so I can just choose this
Yeah.
one. Actually, overline. I don't think I've ever tried that one. I want to see what that one does. Interesting. I've never seen
Yeah.
that one before. Okay.
Yeah. Well, so and so if you went back to the all.css file that we have
Uh-huh.
in your VS Code and scroll back up to checklist, that's where you're going to find all of the related, or yeah, where you're going down into
Maybe
the
I can go
bottom.
up and
Yeah, yeah.
there we go.
So here are some of the other things that you can do. So the done color, that's the text of where it says like Andrew, for example, is grayed out. So it's using the text muted.
Hmm.
And this is a good jumping off point to talk about color. So color is a little bit different than other variables in Obsidian because color is you're probably going to want to set different colors for light mode and dark mode. And so for that reason, we have two selectors, which are theme light and theme dark. But when you look at the top of of app.css, you'll notice that oftentimes one variable refers to another variable. So in this case, we're saying that the done text color should be the text muted. And the reason that we're saying that is because we want to then define the text muted color differently in light mode versus dark mode. So why don't we go back to snippet.css
Hmm.
and we're going to create our set up for light mode and dark mode. So go down below the body and then start with dot theme hyphen light and open the curly bracket, and we'll just set up the dark one as well. So theme dark, you can put that below. Exactly. So now we're starting to create the kind of structure of our color modifications. Now, if you want to understand what how colors are set up, they are also in the all app.css, sorry, but they're below body. So
in here.
Yeah, so if you keep scrolling down at the end after body, you're going to start to hit the above that.
I
You
went too
scrolled
far.
Yeah, now we're in
I'll
the
just search instead. Or is it theme light?
exactly.
Okay, there we go.
And so this is where a lot of the colors are defined. So actually, in the new version of Obsidian, we've also created these new variables. If you scroll back up a little bit, that are called the base colors. And if you're, let's say, thinking about making something like solarized or Nord or one of those kind of off-the-shelf color schemes, you can actually save yourself a lot of time by just changing the base colors. So for example, I think the text muted is actually set to, let's see if I know off the top of my head. I think it's color base 60.
Oh, here. Oh, it's like the grayscale essentially.
So you could take this. So this lines 504 through 515, and take all of those colors and paste them inside of your theme light. I think that you were in theme light right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So now, actually, does VS Code give you like a nice little color picker, or what can you do with that? Oh, okay.
I think you can.
Oh, fancy. Okay. So
yeah.
why don't we? Yeah. Okay, great. So actually 40, I think, is the color for selected borders, but I think 60 is the one for, yeah, so.
Let's go crazy. See if we can.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Okay.
And
go.
save. Yeah. I might have said something wrong here. Oh, I think it's 70.
70?
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Let's try that one instead.
It there. Okay, should work.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I see some red there.
So this is so we've like skipped all the way to the raw kind of like core underlying variables, because you can actually map variables as deep as you want. So what we said earlier is that the done selected state of a checkbox refers to text muted, which then refers to color base 70. But color base 70 is also used in a lot of different places. And this is super convenient if you're trying to quickly, create your own like solarized or Nord or Dracula type of modifications. So you see that we're still in the snippet world, but we're starting to make a theme here. I'm not sure exactly. This is definitely a gory Halloween theme so far.
I can work with this. This is okay. Okay, so this, like you said, this is a snippet. How do I turn this into a theme then?
Great question. So a theme is really a snippet plus it's contained inside of a folder. And we've got this new file since 1.0 called manifest.json. So I think the best way, if you're a beginner, to understand how this works is let's go to the app settings, the Obsidian app settings, and go to appearance. Do you actually have any themes aside from the default right now, or no?
No, not in this vault.
Let's go to manage, and let's just download a theme. Probably not minimal actually, because it's one of the more complicated ones, but try Atom, I think, or Nord.
Okay, let's try that one.
Okay. So now let's go into the folder structure that you have. You can actually just click on that. Exactly. That's good.
Okay. Actually, let's go here. I think that's easier. Okay. So now I have this. Okay. Okay. I see
Exactly.
it.
So this is the structure of a theme. So a theme, there's a folder inside of your Obsidian, .obsidian folder. And then within that, you've got themes. And then within that, each theme has their own folder. So let's make a folder inside of themes for your theme. And let's just call it spooky.
Ooh. Love it.
Now take the manifest.json from Adam and let's copy paste it into spooky, and that'll just give us the template. So here we have it. We'll call your theme spooky, and put your author name in there. And this is a new file. This is what I was talking about at the beginning, which is that we've got a min app version now. So leave it up to 0.16, which is the version which is now officially called 1.0. So you can, if you want, put it as 1.0.0. And that will say that this theme is compatible with anyone who's using 1.0.0 or above. Now let's also create theme.css and
okay,
just make a new theme.css file. And then let's take your snippet and copy paste the content from your snippet into spooky. Okay, and now save that. Now let's go back to Obsidian. Let's go down and turn off your snippet, because now you're gonna have two things that are trying to do the same thing.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, exactly. And now you may need to refresh, but go to the themes list.
Here
and show installed only, maybe at the top of the toggle.
Oh, okay. There we have it.
Yeah. So we've got the spooky theme. So click on that. And oh yes, this is one more thing that we're gonna have to update. Okay, go back.
Right, because there's like a README.
You don't have a Git. It's not a GitHub.
Right.
It's not on GitHub yet. So go back to the drop down. Oh, you may have to refresh the app.
Or maybe just the settings.
Oh, there we have it. Okay, yeah. Close and open settings.
There we go.
Now we've got spooky. So that's just the setup of, now you've got a theme. A theme doesn't need to contain anything. I mean, really, like I said, a theme is just a CSS file plus this manifest.json that kind of defines the name of it, who the author is, and what version it's compatible with. So a theme can really be very basic, and you can start to develop your own theme using bits and pieces that you find from other themes that you like, or from color schemes that exist online. I mean, there's literally, if you go to the VS Code theme gallery, there's hundreds and hundreds of color schemes that you could use as a base.
Yeah, so we have one question here that, does it need to be called theme CSS? So
it does, yes.
Okay, so that's like a keyword or a dedicated name.
Yes.
Okay.
Manifest.json and theme.css are kind of the must-have file names.
Okay. So another question, does it need to be a GitHub repository?
No, you can make a theme that's just local for you. However, if you want to submit a theme to the community plugin or to the community themes, you will need to create a repo for it.
Okay. Okay. So like, let's say that, so another question then is like, let's say that I developed this amazing theme and I really love it and I want to share it. So how do you actually get, other people to, so it appears here, obviously Sanctum, Nord, and all of these, they have had to do something to get their theme there, right?
Yeah. So in order to do that, you have to submit your theme to the Obsidian organization on GitHub. So let's go to GitHub and go to, the Obsidian organization. And there's hopefully you have that.
Yeah, I can just go
there
here.
We go. And there's something called community.
Maybe down here.
Community theme. There, you had it down below.
This one?
Scroll down. No, scroll down. Oh, am I wrong? I'm forgetting what it's called actually. You
Isn't
might be
it
right.
the releases one?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because yeah, you have yeah, the community CSS themes. Is this the one
Yeah.
then?
So if you open that up, this is actually the file that Obsidian reads to go and find out what themes are available. And this is also where the screenshots are defined. So you can see that it's kind of like a little version of the manifest. It's a little bit different in terms of formatting, but it's a
Mhm.
JSON file that contains a list of all of the available Obsidian themes. So if you wanted to submit your theme, you would basically create a pull request on
Mm.
this file and add your theme in there. And what you'll need to do is uh, give it the name and then put the name of the GitHub repo that you're referring to, as well as the location of the screenshot within that repo. So that part, we might not have time to do a demo of how to do that, but I think there's some instructions that explain how to submit your theme, and that's how you do it. Once you've done that, you can push updates to your theme and change the versioning of your theme in GitHub. And that way, anyone who's using your theme will get those updates when they're available.
So I don't have to submit another pull request whenever I want to update it.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you have a new update, what you would do is go back to VS Code and go to the manifest.json, and you would say, I've iterated and now I'm version 0.1. And then when you save that and push it to your repo, anyone who's got an older version, when they check for updates, they'll know that there's a new version available.
Very cool. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I wrote a what's now called a legacy theme. So this is definitely a fresh breeze of just fresh air to see how I can definitely see how this can reduce my number of lines of code, because I definitely remember a lot of selectors just to get the one that I really wanted. I think this will help a lot.
And if you have any questions about this, please join the Obsidian Discord. It's very active in the appearance channel. You can get a lot of help there in terms of understanding how selectors work. If you're still a beginner to CSS, don't hesitate. There's a lot of helpful people in the community, and I'm usually lurking in there too if you have questions for me.
Thank you. I think that's a great place to end this week's live stream. We're going to be here next week again, so feel free to tune in. We're going to be doing the same structure. We're going to start with a tutorial, and we're going to have a new guest. Please stay tuned to find out who, and I'll see you next week. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Marcus.
much.
This was fun.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone who joined in, and thank you, Kipano, for your amazing work on the new beautiful theme.
Appreciate it. It's been great to get all the feedback. It sounds like it's been well received, so we're
Sure.
glad to hear that.
Thank you again. See you next week.
Bye.